Are you ready? We're going to face the dark side today. We're going to be like a Luke Skywalker facing a Darth Vader. So I got what I need. My special eyes. What's the theme here? I'm going to be exploring an anxiety experience that I had. I shared it in A Strange Experience, number 2. And I talked about how this bout of anxiety, it happened. So I paused the world around me, stilled the pond like I'm going to do here in just a moment. We're going to get to go on this journey together. And I opened my eyes in the energy world and I saw these spears at my neck. And so who was on the other end of the spears? It's in the outer ring. Explored this outer ring concept. And it's almost like you could say dimensional realities, the 4th and the 5th dimension, is part of the second time I faced the dark side with all of you guys. So something about this ring is important. Something about moving through these layers and committing to see this stuff, to face this stuff. And not to just kind of look over there, pretend I didn't see that, or I'm so sick of all of this, don't even bother me with it. Someone's like, destiny. Destiny is as destiny does. And it's time now. It's time for destiny. Face the dark side. So I'm going to be 4th, 5th dimension. I'm going to be continuing forward from where I left off, which also seems to include the strange experience with the spears. This is a paranormal approach. And so we're looking at, let's say, a draconian race, or we're looking at evil kind of paranormal expressions. Okay, we're not looking at demonic spirits. So structures of reality intertwined with planet Earth, day in, day out, influences that are holding us, or let's say locking us into a state of suffering. And then we're just being fed off of. We're just resources. And we're just being mined for our pain and suffering. Then that becomes food for some other thing that finds it delicious. Because demonic influences all find that stuff delicious. Parasitic beings will consume that stuff too. There's different biomes. I mean, it's all interconnected. This is like a super universe, okay? It's this crazy super universe. So let's get back to those spears. Let's get back to what is on the other side. What is this all about? Let's get back to what is this evil influence? What can I do to take a look at it and help it take a look at itself, for crying out loud? It's time for a change. Okay. Let's get to the good part. Right now I'm getting in the zone, so neutral God style. Looking at the ring. Who is hidden in the ring? 4th, 5th dimensional structures of reality. What can I do today to bring clarity, understanding, awakening, healing? There's just a there's a long delay. Long delay for me? It's not that long, is it? Long delay, and all of a sudden, it's almost like there's this strange feeling in my arms, into my hand. It's almost like my veins become smaller somehow. And I feel really strange around my head, and within my head, feel like throwing up. I just say, I can smell you. And sometimes there's a sense so potent that it makes you feel like puking. Have you ever smelled something that just made you want to vomit because it just was so disgusting? Sure you have. What does this smell like? Can possibly describe it. Maybe just rot. It has a green vapor to it. It's just a putrid place. Just give me a moment here. I'm looking around. It's basically like trying to see something in a dense fog. And so the purpose of a dense fog is to make it hard for you to see. I mean, good luck driving in a dense fog versus driving in a clear day. So this fog is a tool. It's a stench is a tool. So the fog and the stench, don't walk through here, gross place. That's exactly where I need to go. It's exactly what this is about. I just sit down in the center of this and I'm sending out a ring, literally just like a golden ring, thin, like a hula hoop ring. I'm just sending it out from my center of my brain out throughout this space. Anybody here knows I'm here. I'm not hiding. And I'm making it clear that I can smell you. So either there's consciousness that reeks, the space reeks, both reeks. I'm making a point to be present. I'm trying to hide. Hello, I'm here. So this communication is being sent out throughout this whole space. And something in my heart says that I am desperately needed here. It's the whole point. Who would ever go here to make it better? This is like Earth becomes toxic. Let's leave Earth, get to some other planet. So we gotta clean up our mess, you know? Someone's, I mean, I'm opting for this. I have these little black marbles. Best way to describe it. Don't really know what it's made out of. But I place one, just I'm sitting down, I just place it next to myself. And then I connect these black marbles, one after another, after another, after another, after another. And I create a strange pattern that actually curves behind myself and goes all the way back behind myself. And then it starts to curve, okay, until it creates a spiral. And I'm at the center of the spiral. And so some magical cosmic hand of my own will, okay, is putting these little black spheres, one after another, touching each other, around and around, thousands of them, okay, out into a giant spiral. Something about these black spheres are a powerful tool. I'm noticing the vapor isn't so thick. You ever do something that you really don't want anybody else knowing about, and it's like something you do in your secret place? And it might not be okay, you know? It might be kind of your sick thing that you do. So that creates like a need for a fog, a need to hide, a need to do my little thing, my little dirty thing in a closed off space where there's disconnect. And this is a space that represents, like, if you could encourage people to have a twisted little thing in their little hiding place and no one that you could possibly talk to about it, because the world is based upon a structure of dignity or embarrassment, or you could pretend to be, you know, dignified while you're really just an empty shell. You can pretend, you know, you could lie about it. You could play the role. You could actually have dignity, you know, be a whole person, you know, but you could create a world, or you could influence a world to create itself, or maybe we're just born like this. I don't know, but that how is it going to help us grow? How is it going to help any one of us to stay disconnected? To find comfort in the disconnect, to find comfort in these hiding places. And there's some kind of shame about it. And that shame reeks. In a way, it seems to stem back to being a kid and all those times that you told the truth and then you got reprimanded for it. when shouldn't you have been applauded for being honest, even if you made a mistake? What was worse about that situation as a kid? Was it the mistake you made, or was it being honest about making the mistake? Because really, the honesty is what comes first. We all make mistakes. Let's keep working on doing the right thing here. Thank you for being honest with me. And now there seems to be this world built upon this strange little doorway here within one's own innocence, that it was wiser, smarter, safer to not be honest. It would protect you to be dishonest. It would be smart to be dishonest. Okay. Where are the reptilians? Where's the fourth, fifth dimensional? Where's the astral prisons? Where's the interesting stuff that facing the dark side should be all about? I don't get to just decide what I get to see today. This is where we're looking today. This is where I'm guided today. I need to pause for a minute. I just need to listen. I start to become, and I don't know how I'm doing it exactly, if I am as a totality becoming one and then duplicating myself as many times as necessary to become a part of every single one of these little black spheres. And these little black spheres on some other level represent whole worlds. And so even though it's really tiny, you could go inside and it could be a whole universe all by itself. So I'm going into each one of these things almost like individually, but there's just like duplicates of myself. Here I am, here I am, here I am, here I am, here I am. Around and around and around and around and around and around we go in this spiral, okay? Makes me feel very sick to be a part of this massive spiral. Makes me feel trapped. It makes me feel like I imprison myself, like I have been torturing myself. One of the hardest parts is that you can't tell where it's coming from. You can't tell why it exists, where it's coming from, what it is. It's almost like what fills the spaces in between, where people notice that something isn't right. I mean, the entire concept of religion, you could say, people even back then noticed there was something in between that was a dark influence of some kind that could convince you to, fall off the path and do the wrong thing, to lose your soul even. Now, what is that influence? Where does that even come from? And in some way, I volunteer or I allow myself to just submit to this pain. And it's not like I'm a bad person or I'm making bad decisions. It's almost like I choose to live in a world that is in pain. The world that is in pain, that it's hard to really know where does it come from? Is it just me though? I mean, this is me stepping into an experience, and in that experience, it will flow through me. But this can also be you too, all right? This could be everybody on the planet. This could be all the reptilians as well. This could be every living thing in this version of reality. So you can't separate yourself all that much because we're all connected. We're all working through this. So you chose to come into a world where you would be subjected to pain. You chose to be subjected to pain. You could say you chose to be in pain. Like, is that self-love? It's not about that. It's about the courage to explore and to participate So you are courageous to explore and to participate. Okay, I'm starting to notice some strange stuff. Just give me a minute here. So it's like a bright white light just flashes, okay? So I'm literally seeing, I'm looking from above now down, and I see this giant spiral. It's almost like these little black marbles, these worlds are placed upon almost like a desert planet that contains, like upon this desert planet, which could be sands of time, okay? But upon this giant world, okay, there are these spheres that contain whole worlds within them. And the soul, and many versions of yourself even that are part of the spiral of time, you could say, that become a part of this embrace to merge with a reality that would be painful as many times as who knows how to put a number on that. And so I'm looking down at this, and then all of a sudden there's this white light, it just flashes, okay? And there's some jerk, I guess, just their hand just takes me by the back of the neck and then pulls me out of here and then flings me in this other space. And I'm like, well, finally. And I could see this stuff all day long, but I'm looking for the action, man. Thank you. It seems like this is kind of strange behavior. I have so much experience doing this, you guys. Like, I could be thrown, I can be ripped apart, just stabbed a bajillion times. Once you're neutral, you're not one way or another, nothing sticks to you. You're completely fearless because there's no such thing as fear. If I could aspire to be this neutral in just day-to-day human life, I don't know if, I just find that to be, I don't know if it's really me, you know? I feel overwhelmed at times, you know, day-to-day human life, very overwhelmed at times. But if I am in this state, I'm like some invincible person. It's like anyone can navigate an infinite universe in this state. All right. So this doesn't mean anything to me. In fact, it's like this is what I was looking for. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm in a room, and it's strange. It's made out of sounds. It's almost like dots and dashes, but it's not. I'm trying to pinpoint some of these as individual noises. Like each individual sound has a purpose, and so it's not. It's almost like there's so many different noises, different ways that they like paces, duplicated paces. Like it could just be dot 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 and dot 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 dot, and then it can be doo 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 doo. Like so many different ways that sound. It almost consistently, there's just one meaning, and that meaning is duplicated. And then you have all these sounds that overlap all these sounds. Like, wow, what is this place? It's not like your classic room, like my living room or some secret dungeony room or some alien spaceship room. It's more leaning towards alien spaceship room, but I couldn't really tell you what this would be like. There is a place to sit down at the center of this, and there's a man that's standing upright. It just represents aggressive. I take one of these noises and then I create like a thin line, like a shoestring or something. And all I need is just a little, like the shoestring could be 1 inch long. It could be 10 feet long. It doesn't matter. But I'm just like pulling out a length of it. And then I hold it in my hand as the most precious gift of life I could ever hope to acquire. It's just this one duplicated sound. And I tell him, this aggressive one, and I say, thank you so much. I don't know what it is about this place, but it's so meaningful. And I show him what's in the palm of my hand, and I show him I'm holding it close to my heart. And I'm sincere about this. I'm not making this up. Like, I sincerely, this isn't just the sound. It's what is within the meaning of it. It's almost like a strand of life force. Like, it could just be a singular strand of your hair, useless. But if you could understand the preciousness of that one strand of hair, that's the profoundness. It's like, I can't explain how sincerely profound this is. Energetically, it is very profound. I say, I feel like I acquired a gift today. I say, I guess for the purpose of just, I guess for finding out. I don't know. Maybe other people might like to know. I don't know. I just, mm. Thank you for pulling me out of that other space. Thank you for pulling me in here and just throwing me against the wall in here. Thank you for this. What are you about? What's your story? Okay. It's just so what does it look like? It's not really for me to tell you what its identity looks like. It's really made out of pixelated meanings. Almost like trying to formulate an identity, but it's made out of like all these different strange shapes, like circles, cubes, just, and it's all mixed together, like in the embodiment of chaos. Like if chaos could somehow have a container to contain its own form, and it could have a structured outline, but it would be made up of all these weird colors and shapes, and then just be all like just like bumping around in there. That's really what it looks like. This persona, this consciousness looks like. And it comes right into my face, inside my face, okay? And it seems like it has only one drive, and that drive is to disrupt. And I instantly respond how interesting that is, because this room, this space is made out of consistency. Even if it's minimal, it's repetitive, it's consistent. You're made out of, I guess your consistency is completely the opposite. You are made out of 100%, your consistency is inconsistency. The inconsistency that is raging. I say, are you what we would describe as an alien being? Are you some kind of paranormal force? I don't know why. That was a really funny thing I said. And suddenly all the shapes start to act differently that he's made out of. And they just start to become in alignment or in a form of order. Oh, whoa, this is just wild. Once he becomes in a form of order, it's almost like all the circles go in the circles compartment, and then all the squares, and then all the weird squiggly lines, and then all the little spiralies. And it was like he's made out of all these almost organized patterns. And these organized patterns exist inside like an outline shape. And so when I look inside, I start to see every single one of these shapes is a door, but also every one of these, like these organized spaces is an actual door as well. So I show him that I had a, one of those things this reminds me of is a time when I had an opportunity to choose from like 100 different pathways, and I didn't know which one to choose. So I asked which one should I take? And because I didn't know, and I had to ask, the opportunity just disappeared. That I was weak. And it didn't, I was so excited. I was like, oh, which one do you think? And it's like, done. Wait, where'd you go? Never could get back to it. I had my one opportunity. It kind of reminds me of that. Like I'm back in that moment again, and I gotta choose. But what I do for myself is I say we have nothing but time. And let's be sure that this is about choosing a doorway and not about something else. We're the master of this. We're the master of this moment here. And suddenly I look at myself and I'm kind of outside myself, looking at myself, but I'm also looking at this being, and I'm also looking at these many doors. I'm also looking at these sounds as individuals. I'm looking at the space, okay, from outside myself, okay, in the space. I don't know why I ask myself, do you think anyone can understand how truly amazing it is, where we can go and what we can see, and the questions we can ask? I say we've got to do better at explaining things. We got to do better, but I don't know if I can understand everything about anything that I see any more than I'm able to offer that right now. She says, this me says, is there anything we're missing? Is there anything that we are not doing? I say, I'm going to take a break from this space. I'm going to go back to that stinky space with the spirals. I'm going to decide it was a space of spirals that was interesting. It always was interesting. It might be the one thing we're all actually looking for, not the jerks that just want to throw us against a wall so we can find something entertaining today. Because we figured out how to master some skill. Maybe other people haven't figured out how to master, so we could walk into harm's way and it would never harm us. And this other me says, both places are important. Everywhere we go is important. Let's return to the spiral of worlds, and then we'll come back to this space. Say, okay. Tell my higher self, I say, my goal is to show people a paranormal reality, like fourth and fifth dimensional stuff. Why is this it today? I feel like I'm not getting where I want to go, but maybe I'm the one that is mistaken. Maybe this is where we all want to go. It takes facing the dark side to be able to sit in a place that I would define now as boring. That the dark side is probably the most boring thing. Maybe it's entertaining, but it is boring. I've seen it so many times. I've seen how it breaks people. I've seen what it does to be. I see how it manipulates. I see how it imprisons. I see how people get lost in it. I see how people destroy themselves over it. And they can't forgive themselves. I see what it does. It's probably the most essential part of living a life in pain. And opting for this to get lost along the way is the whole point. But what about getting found along the way? I don't know why, but I suddenly have this, like, I guess, big fist. And I just, like, smash this big fist down onto this planet of dust, okay? With these spirals, which are flat, black spheres. And the goal is to just crush them all instantly. And to set all these parts of myself free, which then is to set all these parts of yourself free. I'm not just doing this for my benefit, doing this for everyone, your benefit. I'm setting you free. It's not that boring, isn't it? What is it when you're the one that gets to be set free? It's not that boring now. It's almost like, okay, once my fist comes down, this just bumps. It just like jumbles up. And all these spheres break out of this perfect spiral. And I pound my fist again, and they just bounce, and they just bounce, and they just keep bouncing like Mexican jumping bean. It just like keeps bouncing and disorganizing. And I see this planet of dust tries to absorb now all these spheres, and I say, whoa, you're not supposed to absorb those spheres. And I start to notice there's a great calamity happening where I'm trying to put it into an individual space where we can understand things one at a time, but this is all almost crushing each other. It's all crushing each other all simultaneously. It's like the guy with all the shapes and the embodiment of chaos is like all those intricate individual sounds that just all start to blend together, and all you can hear is chaos. That's it. It's just chaos. It's like anything goes, any random thing, any messed up thing, any good thing in a messed up world, like on and on and on and on and on and on. Like the Big Bang, but it's not to like be the onset of order and exploration. It's almost like it's constantly just beating its head against a wall while it's also eating a pleasant meal, getting a shower, and having a nice day out on the town, and then getting its head cut off, as well as like being force fed its own liver or something. It's all everything at once, messed up, nice, doesn't matter. It's all at once. This is what is incorrect. Okay. We think we are looking for something particular. We're looking for a building. We call it a building. It has, I'll say, 100 floors in it, okay? It has some office spaces and some bathrooms, okay? These are all explainable things. So now this simple explanation, simple example, okay, now becomes simple explainable ways to understand what the dark thing is that we're experiencing in between, and some sort of dark influence. And now we are disconnected, hiding in our secret little spaces, doing dirty things that we don't want anybody to know about. It goes to the root of being a child, and now you learn that it's safer to just not tell the truth. Now you become a mature adult, and you're, well versed in this approach, and you're figuring out how to mess with people's minds because it's just better that way. And now we're living in a world full of just garbage, lies, and stench, and filth. And it's like, where's the order in all of it? We actually see the order in it, but we also don't. We're also noticing something isn't right. And what's weird is all of this, if you could see it, everything is all crushed together, crunched together. Like the whole universe is just crunched into almost like a tiny dot. And it hurts really, really bad. It's almost like at the root of everything that exists in like, we see the expanse, but the truth is it's really just imploded upon itself into a tiny dot that's constantly imploding upon itself. It never disappears. It never goes away. It never dies. It's constantly in pain and screaming. If that's the mathematical equation of our reality, that would explain what is in between. It is not draconian race reptilian shapeshifters. It's something more incomprehensible. Is something we need to be looking for, something we need to put new language to. And is it really that dark? How we endure it is, but if we could understand it, it would be kind of simple. Almost stupid that we got wrapped up in this, roped up in this, that our minds were just so small about it. And in a way, I could be doing a disservice by seeking to find these structures that we could put language to, because that's really where the compass is guiding us, right? but then deny us this truth as something nobody's talking about. I've never heard anyone say this ever. I've never even come across this ever before. And if someone smarter than me could contemplate these things with a smart mind, maybe there's something strange about reality. And there's something strange about the structure of it that isn't quite okay. Simplest way of putting this: concepts of reality. I was just talking about this recently. Here's an example of a concept of reality. Are we living on a planet? So are we living with soils and trees? Or are we living amongst threads of frequency? So where are we, or what is reality? Concepts. It's concepts of reality, or concepts of truth. But the deeper that we go to understanding how this whole thing even exists in the first place, we're getting closer and closer to finding the answer to that question. It goes well beyond day-to-day math, okay? It's this kind of incomprehensible anomaly that it could bend our perception of things. I'm an enormous something in a something reality. I just putting this little cube that's in so much pain in the palm of my hand. So instead of being small, I'm enormous, holding on to something enormous that's actually quite small to me. And something of this big me I guess I just crush it to dust. And I notice there's a lot of other big people here. And I say, the intention, the original intention was to find my way to you who holds the spears, to find my way to the outer ring. One weird layer at a time. One weird discovery at a time. Why are you always hiding? And I start to become gravity and just pulling them towards me. It's almost like they've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for someone to come in here and someone to do something like this. I don't know, I guess we just have our individual destinies, I just keep seeing keys that go into the machine, and there's got to be two people. Someone's got to do it. So some souls are going to have to do that. And they're just going to have to turn the keys at the same time and hit the red button. I mean, someone's got to do it. Like, someone has a destiny for every single thing that I guess keeps the framework alive. But that framework is our idea of balance, a structured reality, but it seems to be imploding in on itself constantly. It's just always in pain. So by crushing it, what that means to me is that I'm giving it an opportunity to be reborn in a new way, that our entire reality could be new, that it could be new. So was it me that did it or someone else that did it? We're all part of this thing together. Divine time, the Holy Spirit, who knows? So I'm going to be one of these people that are still hidden, that I'm the gravity pulling them closer. What do they look like? Big greenish and white circles mixed together like a Michelin tire man, okay? They all look similar, but they're not balanced. They're just blobulous. Each one contains a history of some kind. And I notice on a grander scale, these blobuluses make up a connection to the original spiral. And I see the spirals, all abstract shapes. I'm starting to see this aggressive one start to organize from within. And I'm starting to hold again that sound that I was holding close to my heart. And I'm starting to notice that this is all connected somehow. And this chaotic one that just organized gave me a lot of options here is starting to find peace from within. If I were to just go into one of these doors, it would just be more of the same low level exploration. But I'm working on breaking through the barrier here. I'm not in the third dimension looking at the walls, ceiling, and floor. I'm breaking through the structure that contains me. The only way I can get out of the structure is by challenging the very framework of it. Even if maybe I can't ever conceivably do it until I evolve into a totally different being. But I'm still going to try. I step into this man who's a lot calmer. And this man is almost like a representation of this tiny cube that turned to ash so that it could become something new, as it holds all these incomprehensible story shapes in a spiral of time that is on a grander scale, you could say. And somehow he knows what to do with all the sounds that this room is made out of. And he's very quick about it, and he's rebuilding himself, whatever he is. And I'm noticing there's a crack in this space. And it's not about going inward. Now it's about going outward. Not the inhale, now the exhale. And I'm starting to see it reminds me of Big Bang, okay? And this Big Bang doesn't pull inside, infinitely inside of itself. This time is pulling infinitely outside of itself. We might see it as always having expanded from the outside, but in this is saying it's going within, constantly going within. And so you could say on some level, we are constantly forced to go within in order to function in this reality. We have to keep going within. We have to keep exploring. We have to keep growing from within ourselves to participate in an external reality. This is exhaling. This is something different. This is a different direction we're all going in. And while this might seem like way abstract and way out there, this could actually pertain to a big collective awakening happening, where everything that was now inward is now outward, however that animates itself. That we aren't that far away from home here. We aren't that far away from the practical day-to-day life. I just see that his light was going within and it was creating so much distortion that his light is now breathing outward like the stars. And so now is reaching outside of himself, and I see like a big bang and then all of this expansion. And he's really happy about it. He's talking about the conversation I had with myself. Isn't it? I mean, I could rephrase this in a lot of different ways. I mean, really, I'm just honoring my heart. That's it. I'm just honoring my heart. And I'm doing this in my own private time and deciding to record and share outside myself. So in a way, I am a perfect example of what I was hiding inside of me. Now I am releasing out into the world. So if I could give an example, I am the example of exactly what we just stepped into. Exactly what this is about. Exactly what is being I guess, found its new nature is the very thing that I am actually animating myself and doing. He calls it, he basically uses my own words. He's like, yeah, you're the puppet on the strings, in a funny way, because I always say, like, I'm not gonna know how I get roped up into these things. It's just almost like I'm animated at times to do things, almost like I was guided right into that situation right there. Wow, how did you guys do it? How did you guys figure out a way to keep me completely blind the entire time so I would wind up in this situation? As like I'm the puppet on the strings. I'm right where I need to be, doing right what my heart is guiding me to do, and giving you a lens into exactly, as best as I can comprehend, what I'm called to share. And in my human mind, I find these stories that are closer to our own comprehension, like I described with the buildings, 100 floors, and there's some offices and there's some bathrooms, and that makes so much sense, right? And so we have this reptilian being, and this is exactly what it looks like, and what color green skin it has, and what kind of face, and what shaped face, and what's its name, and when was it born, and how long it was looking as, what does it do for a living, like that sort of thing in particular. I don't get to decide where I get to go. I am guided. It is my destiny. So I'm honoring my destiny. And I'm sharing it with all of you. And it seems like the whole puppet on the strings thing is, in some way, shape, or form, whatever you're hiding behind closed doors, it's time for you to come out with it. And that a lot of the world is going to be coming out from within. Took long enough, right? Jeez. A very long time later. Now we know. Was that so dark? Was that so cripplingly scary? Was it boring? It's definitely something important. The ultimate message, whether you mean to or not, you're going to be doing it. You're going to be opening up. You're going to be coming out of the woodwork. You're going to be sharing. Not keeping it so hidden inside, but now accessible to the outside world. Okay, thank you. Number 3 it is. What do we have for number 4? All right, thanks for watching. If I can help you in an individual session, soul rebirth journey style, just like you witnessed me do here, you set the stage. You tell me what you want me to look into, and we'll navigate it, okay? It'll be a very interesting experience for you, very outside the box. Breaking down those walls, floor and the ceiling, so you can see from a totally new vantage point. One that would be hard to give yourself. I'm here to help you see outside the box. You can book a session at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Have a good day.